Oprah, The Messiah, Volume 2, Reflections of Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, given with the Osho Commune International, Pune, India. Discourse number 2.
Commentaries by Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh on Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Beloved Bhagwan, what is it but fragments of your own self you would discard that you may become free? If it is an unjust law you would abolish, that law was written with your own hand upon your own forehead. You cannot erase it by burning your law books, nor by washing the foreheads of your judges, though you pour the sea upon them. And if it is a despot you would dethrone, see first that his throne is erected, within you is destroyed. For how can a tyrant rule the free and the proud, but for a tyranny in their own freedom and a shame in their own pride? And if it is a care you would cast off, that care has been chosen by you rather than imposed upon you. And if it is a fear you would dispel, the seat of that fear is in your heart and not in the hand of the feared. Verily, all things move within your being in constant half-embrace, the desired and the dreaded, the repugnant and the cherished, the pursued and that which you would escape. These things move within you as lights and shadows in pairs that cling. And when the shadow fades and is no more, the light that lingers becomes a shadow to another light. And thus your freedom, when it loses its fetters, becomes itself the fetter of a greater freedom.
Man is born with his soul, but not with his self. Although all the dictionaries will be saying that these two words, soul and self, are synonymous, it is not true. Soul you bring with yourself. The self is created by the society as a substitute, so that you need not feel without identity, because the search for the soul may take long years of pilgrimage, of seeking and search. And it will be impossible to bear a namelessness and emptiness, a nobodiness. The intention to create the self was out of love, so that from the very beginning you start feeling who you are. Otherwise, how you will live? How you will be addressed? To create the idea of the self was full of good intentions. But because the people who created the self themselves had no idea of their own soul, they remained a man-created self, and they died as a man-created self. They never came to know what existence has made them, and for what. Your soul is part of existence. Your self is a social institution. So the first thing to remember is that the distinction is unbridgeable. If you want to seek and know who really you are, you will have to go through a radical change of destroying your own self. Because if you don't destroy the self, and by some incidents you come to discover the soul, you will not be one. And that's what is called by psychologists schizophrenia. You will be split. And sometimes you will behave like the self and sometimes like the soul. You will be in a constant tension. Your life will become simply a deep anguish and anxiety. And it is impossible to live such a life. Hence the society, the educational system, the parents, the priests, everybody around you tries in every way to create such a strong self that you never become aware of the hidden soul. The journey is not long, but certainly very arduous. The self is not a simple thing, very complex. You are a Brahmin, you are a doctor, you are a vice chancellor, you are a president, you are beautiful, you are very knowledgeable, you are rich, super rich. All these dimensions are of the self. And the self goes on accumulating more money, more power, more prestige, more respectability. Its ambition is unfulfillable. And you go on and on, creating more and more layers of self. And this is the misery of man, the basic misery. He does not know who he is, yet he goes on believing that he is this, he is that. If you are a doctor, that is your function, not your reality. If you are a president, that is your function, just as somebody's function is to make shoes. Neither the shoemaker knows his self, nor the Prime Minister knows his self. Parents start from the very beginning, from the very first day. And this false ego, self, or whatever you call it, almost becomes your reality, and the real is forgotten. The English word sin is very significant. Not in the sense Christians use it, not in the sense it is being understood all over the world, but in its very roots, the word comes with a totally different meaning. It means forgetfulness. It has nothing to do with your actions. It has to do something with your reality that you have forgotten. And because you have forgotten your reality, and you are living with a false substitute, all your actions become hypocrite. You smile, but the smile is not coming from your heart. You weep, you cry, but the tears are very superficial. You love, but your love has no roots in your being. All your actions are as if you are a somnambulist, a man who walks in his sleep. It happened in New York that one somnambulist, and there are so many people somnambulists that you will not believe. 10% of the whole humanity. They get up in the night, they go to the fridge, they eat something which the doctor has denied because they are getting fat and creating their own death, committing a slow suicide. In the day somehow they manage to repress, but in the night the conscious mind is fast asleep, and the unconscious does not miss the opportunity. It knows the way and they walk with open eyes. Even in the dark, they don't stumble. And they are worried, their doctor is worried, their family is worried that we have reduced your food, we are not giving you any sugar, and still you go on becoming fat. And they are also worried that things go on disappearing from the fridge. And you cannot hold that person responsible because he does not remember anything at all in the morning. But this New York case became world famous. This man used to live in a 50-story high building. On the last story. And in the night, he will get up and go to the terrace and jump to the other house which was close by. The distance was such that nobody could have dared with consciousness to take such a jump. And it was everyday routine. Soon, people became aware. And people started gathering underneath to see, because it was almost a miracle. The crowd started becoming bigger and bigger. And one day, when the man was just to jump, the crowd shouted loudly, hailing the man that made him awake. But it was too late. He had taken the jump. He could not reach the other terrace. Otherwise, each day he was going to the other terrace, coming back, going to his room and falling asleep. But because he became conscious and he saw what he is doing, but he has already taken the jump, he fell down from 50 stories. His body was shattered in fragments on the road. The self of man is almost his sleep. The soul is his awakening. And to keep the self, the society has given you certain rules and disciplines. For example, every small child is made ambitious. Nobody says to anybody that just be yourself. Everybody is giving him great ideals. Be a Gautam Buddha or a Jesus Christ or a Albert Einstein. But be someone. Don't just go on remaining yourself. You are nothing. Your self needs many degrees. Your self needs recognition, honor. Those are its nourishment. It lives on them. And even the people who renounce the world, become sannyasins, monks. Do not renounce their self. It is easy to renounce the world. It is very difficult to renounce the self because you don't know anything else about it. You know your business, you know your education, you know your name, and you know perfectly well you had come without a name. You had come a tabula rasa. Nothing was written on you. And your parents and your teachers and your priests started writing all over. And you go on believing your whole life in the self. It is very touchy because it is very thin. Thin in the sense because it is false. That's why the egoist is a very touchy person. I used to go for a morning walk when I was a teacher in the university. And I had no idea who he was. An old man. And just out of his oldness, I used to say good morning to him. And we were only the two persons at that early hour, 3 o'clock in the morning. One day I forgot to say good morning to the man. And he said, "Hey, have you forgotten?" I said, "This is strange. I don't know you at all." It was just out of sheer courtesy towards an older man who was as old as my grandfather that I used to say good morning to you. But it is not a contract that I have to do it every day. He was demanding because it has become a fulfillment of a certain part of his self. I had no idea who he is, but he has every idea about me. And it was hurting to him that I have not said good morning, sir. I said, I will never say again to you or to any old man just out of courtesy, because I was poisoning your mind. Have you ever wondered that you have entered the world without a name? But if somebody says something against your name, you will be ready to fight without knowing that I had come in the world without a name. This name is a false label. You don't have any name. Namelessness is your reality. People who renounce the world are worshipped as saints. But nobody looks that their egos has become even more subtle, more stronger than ever before. I have heard that there were 3 Christian monasteries deep in the hills, and one day 3 monks, one from each monastery, just by chance met on the road. They were tired. They had been coming from the city, so they rested under a tree. The first monk said, "I am proud of my monastery. We may not be so knowledgeable as the people who live in your monastery, but you cannot compete with us as far as living in austerity is concerned." The second monk laughed. He said, "Forget all about austerity. The austerity is nothing but torturing yourself. The real thing is the knowledge of your ancient scriptures, and nobody can compete us. Our monastery is the oldest, and we have all the scriptures, and our people are so scholarly. What about austerity? That you fast, that you don't eat in the night, that you eat only one time a day. How dare you? All these things can be done by any idiot. But what wisdom you have gained." The third monk was listening silently. He said, "You both may be right. One lives in a very arduous and hard way, sacrificing his body, and the other may also be right, that his people are great scholars. They both asked, "But what about you and your monastery?" He said, "What about me and my monastery? We are the tops in humbleness. Tops in humbleness. It is so difficult. Now they have grown for their self a religious garment. It has become more stronger. Hence I say, even sinners may have reached to the ultimate source of life, but not the saints. Because the sinner knows he is neither living in austerity, nor he is knowledgeable, nor he is humble. He is just an ordinary person who knows nothing. And perhaps he is the person who is more religious because he is less of a self and coming closer to his soul. Al-Mustafa is touching very significant things. Hence, just don't hear, but listen to. He says, and what is it but fragments of your own self you would discard that you may become free. The real freedom is neither political, nor economical, nor social. The real freedom is spiritual. If it was not so, then Ramakrishna could not have become what he became, a light unto himself. Because the country was living under the slavery of the British rulers. Then Raman Maharshi would not have been such a glory, such a silence, and such a blessing, because the British imperialism was still keeping the country under slavery. Spiritual freedom cannot be touched. Yourself can be made a slave, but not your soul. Yourself is sellable, but not your soul. Al-Mustafa is saying, if you want to know what real freedom is, you will have to go on dropping fragments of yourself, forgetting that you are a Brahmin, not a Sudra, forgetting that you are a Christian, not just a human being. Forgetting what is your name, but only an ordinary utility. But not your reality. Forgetting all your knowledge, knowing that it is all borrowed. It is not your own experience, your own attainment. The whole world may be full of light, but deep inside you are living in darkness. What use is the world full of light when you don't have even a small flame inside you? Slowly, trying to understand whatever has been added to you after your birth is not your true reality. And as fragments of the self disappear, you start becoming aware of an enormous sky, as vast as the sky outside, because existence is always in balance. The outer and the inner are in harmony and in balance. Yourself is not that which is confined to your body. Your real soul is that which will not be burnt even if your body is burned. Krishna is right when he says, Nanam chidanti sastrani. No weapon can even touch me. Naham dahati pavaka. And neither the fire can burn me. He is not talking about the body, the brain, the self. They will all be destroyed. But there is something in you indestructible, immortal, eternal. It was before your birth and it will be with you after your birth. Because it is you, your essential being. To know it is to be free. Free from all prisons. The prisons of the body, the prisons of the mind, the prisons that exist outside you. If it is an unjust law, you would abolish. That law was written with your own hand upon your own forehead. Laws go on changing. Constitutions go on changing. That shows that no law is ultimately true. No constitution is forever. As man's understanding grows, he has to change his laws, his constitutions, his governments, everything. But Al-Mustafa is saying, don't condemn anybody, because the law that looks unjust, for example, the law of the Hindu society that divides it into 4 castes is absolutely unlawful, unjust. It has no reasonable support for it. Because I have seen idiots who are born in a Brahmin family. Just because you are born in a Brahmin family, you cannot claim superiority. And I have seen people who are born in the lowest category of Hindu law, the Sudras, the untouchables. So intelligent that even when India became independent, the man who made the Constitution of India, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, was a Sudra. But there was no equal to his intelligence as far as law is concerned. He was a world famous authority. Brahmins were not called, Shankaracharyas were not called, that you are superior beings. You should make the constitution of this country. But a man who just by chance slipped out of the torturous, unlawful, unjust division of Hindu society. Somebody who had riches signed the boy a great potential and he sent him to England to study, because in India no Sudra in those days was allowed in any school, college or university. From the very roots, their intelligence was destroyed. Ambedkar was educated in England and he became the world famous authority as far as constitutions are concerned. And when he came back to India, India became free and there was no choice. Nobody was even closer to him. But for 5,000 years, the Hindu society has remained immobile. No movement is allowed. Even a Gautam Buddha is not accepted as a Brahmin. He remains belonging to the second category, lower than the Brahmins. And the Brahmins have not been able to create a single Gautam Buddha. But the man who wrote the Hindu law codes, Manu, was a Brahmin and naturally prejudiced. So for the Brahmins, there are all facilities. And for the lowest, who work the hardest, who do the all dirty work of the society, in fact, they deserve to be respected more, because the society can exist without Brahmins, but the society cannot exist without those poor people. They are so absolutely essential and still they are condemned. Even animals are better. They are below than animals. Even their shadow, if by chance falls upon you, it makes you dirty. You have to go and take a bath. And this continues even today. Everybody knows, nobody can argue for the reasonability, justifiability of this strange division. Figs, no education, no understanding, not even enlightenment can move you from the fixed structure of the society. You cannot go higher. And those who are born higher, they may be criminals. They are criminals. Because all that they do is non-essential things. But they exploit the whole society. They are uncreative, unproductive. but they are sitting on the chest of everybody to suck his blood. And still you have to respect them. You have to touch their feet. Al-Mustafa is saying, still, "5,000 years before, when Manu was writing this Hindu law, you were also involved in it. Because the same blood and the same bones and the same marrow goes on being inherited by everybody. So you cannot just get yourself free from the responsibility that it is others who have done something unjust. You are also to feel the responsibility. His effort is that human society is an organic whole. So whatever is done by one part is done by the whole. At least either you supported or you remained silent, did not oppose. Certainly you were not there in the same body, but you must have been present somewhere, in some other body. Manu should have been opposed, but he has not been opposed for 5,000 years. And if I oppose him today, I am opposing my own forefathers. I am not opposing anybody else. I am condemned. I am ordered that I should not criticize anybody. But I am going to criticize anything that is unjust because I am also part of it. However far away. But Jesus is a cousin to me. If I do not criticize him, saying anything unjust, then I also become a partner. Nobody will know it. But those who understand the deepest core of human being will not forgive me. Should I listen to the police commissioner of Pune? Or should I listen to my own soul? I am not criticizing anybody else. I am criticizing only my own heritage. Even if lost in the morning, you come back home in the evening, you should not be considered lost. If I can correct something which is unjust, it may have been there for thousands of years, it does not matter. I have been a part in it, either active or silent, but now that I have become aware that the whole humanity, not only the contemporary humanity, but the whole humanity of the past and the future, is a one single whole. So when I criticize somebody, I criticize mercilessly for the simple reason because I am criticizing myself. To me, the Mohammedan or the Hindu or the Jaina, or the Buddhist, or the Christian, are arbitrary, artificial discriminations. Within me, Moses also has a part, just as Zarathustra has a part, just as Mahavira has a part. They are not somebody's properties. Nobody can monopolize on Gautam Buddha. He is yours just as he is mine. And not to be merciless, it is impossible to destroy the unjust, the unlawful, the unreasonable that we have inherited. I would like to burn it all. And remember, burning it, I am burning something in me too. You cannot erase it by burning your law books, nor by washing the foreheads of your judges, though you pour the sea upon them. Just by burning the law books will not help. Or even if you pour the whole sea upon your judges, it is not going to wash all the crimes that we have committed in the name of religion, in the name of nation, in the name of races. Any excuse seems to be enough. People can fight so easily. It seems they are just looking all around to find some excuse. In a court there was a case. Even the magistrate was surprised, because those two men were known in the whole area as bosom friends. What has happened? Because they had been fighting, hitting each other's heads. Blood was oozing. He could not believe. He said, "What happened?" Because you were the ideals of friendship. Both stood ashamed in the court, and each other told, "You explain what happened." But he said, "You explain what happened." The magistrate said, "It does not matter who explains, just explain to me what happened." They said, "We are ashamed." And one of them gathered courage and said the whole story, that we were sitting on the beach and I said that I am going to purchase a buffalo. Going to purchase a buffalo. He has not purchased it. The other said that I am going to purchase a beautiful land to cultivate. And I warn you that your buffalo should never enter into my field. Our friendship is one thing, but I cannot see my crops being destroyed by your buffalo. I will kill it. And the things became so hot that the other man said, you will kill my buffalo? Let us see. On the sand of the beach, he drew a small field and said, this is your cultivation land. And the other man said, agreed, now let your buffalo enter. And this man, with the same finger he had made the field, drew a line and said, this is my buffalo entering into your field. Now do what you can do. Touch my buffalo. And of course, the challenge was so great that buffalo and field were last forgotten completely, and we started hitting each other. And we ended in your court. That's why we are feeling ashamed. Neither I have any field, nor that idiot has any buffalo. Not only we have destroyed our friendship, we have shown our stupidity, and I have nothing but to say that just forgive us. The magistrate must have been a man of intelligence. He said, all fights are like that, whether real or imaginary. The question is not on what excuse you fought. Any excuse will do. People are burning to fight as if in their heart there is only hate, violence, they have never tasted any love, any friendship. So it is not going to help just by burning the scriptures, because those scriptures are not outside you. You can burn Manu Smriti, the basis of all Hindu ideology about social system, social structure. You can burn the Holy Quran, upon which millions of Mohammedans depend. You can burn the Holy Bible. Almost half of humanity believes in it. So burning the books is not going to help. Those books have entered into your blood. They have entered into your heart. And unless you are ready to destroy the self which contains them all, Hindu or Mohammedan or Christian, does not matter. Unless you are ready to burn your false self, there is not going to be any real revolution in the world. And if it is a despot you would dethrone, see first that his throne within you is destroyed. It is not only that for thousands of years human beings have been auctioned in the marketplace as a slave. Although now that kind of a slavery does not exist, but if you look a little deeply, it has only changed its form. Now you are having better slaves and lesser expense. To have a slave, first you have to buy him. That is an investment. Then you have to keep him feeding, otherwise how he is going to work? You have to provide shelter, clothes, otherwise how he is going to serve? In sickness, you have to take care and call a doctor and find medicines, because if he dies, your whole investment is gone down the drain. It is not the slave that you are trying to save. You are trying to save your investment. That was a very costly thing. Having servants is simpler, easier, more economical, and on the surface it looks more human. To go into a marketplace and to auction for a man looks ugly. Man is not a commodity. But somebody comes seeking employment, you need not go to purchase a slave. This looks more human, but it is the same thing, improved, made more reasonable, that he himself is asking, and there is no investment. If he becomes sick, you can get rid of him. If he becomes old, you can get rid of him. At the most, only in the advanced countries, you may have to pay 1 month or 2 months salary, or to give him an advance notice. That's all. This is a slavery in a new form, not in any way favorable to the slaves. It is still favorable to the masters. India has remained for 2000 years under slavery. Masters went on changing. Slaves remain the same. My whole family was involved in the freedom struggle. Everybody has been punished and jailed. And I was continuously, because I was too young, was fighting with my uncles, with my father, that can't you see a simple thing, that for 2000 years a country which is not a country but a continent, so vast that the whole Europe can be accommodated in it, and small races like England, which is not bigger than a big district of India, controlled and ruled. And it is not a single instance. Mughals came, Turk came, Mongols came, Huns came. Anybody who wanted this country was available, ready to be slave. My point was that the real question is not to fight the people who have become your rulers. The real question is to fight within you the one who has become a slave. Otherwise, this seems to be absolutely impossible. How can small groups of people came and ruled all over the country? Certainly there must have been a slave in everybody's being. And you can see it even today. After 40 years of freedom, what have you got? When China attacked India after freedom, the first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru was immensely annoyed. Forces were sent and they were defeated. And China has taken over thousands of miles of beautiful Himalayas. And once they were defeated, Jawaharlal Nehru said that land was useless. Not even grass grows there. Then why you had sent all those people to be murdered and butchered to save a land where nothing grows, not even grass? And since then, no Indian president or prime minister has even mentioned it. That what about those thousands of miles of beautiful Himalaya, when you are going to return it? Pakistan has taken a part of Kashmir, and the man who was in charge of the Indian armies, General Chaudhary, his wife was very much interested in me and in my ideas. She told me the inside story that General Chaudhary was ready and he wanted to attack before the sun rises, before the Pakistani armies are even awake. And his logic was absolutely right, that we should not only take our part that Pakistan has taken, we should go deeper towards Lahore, which is not far away. We should take Lahore too. Then you have the upper hand when the question of negotiations come. That we can leave your Lahore to you, you leave our part to us. Otherwise, how you are going to negotiate? For what? You are not giving anything, you are just asking something. For 40 years continuously, India has been asking that the part you have taken should be returned. But rather than returning it, they have made it part of Kashmir constitutionally, not an invaded part. Now it is an essential part of Kashmir. And the Indian leaders have been silent. Nobody has even objected. And General Chaudhary was phoning continuously that allow me to go ahead. But Jawaharlal Nehru and his cabinet could not decide. They said you have to wait up to sunrise. And you will be surprised to know that if he had waited up to sunrise, whole Kashmir would be gone into the hands of Pakistan. He did not wait. He was a real courageous man. But they delayed him so much that he started attacking just near about when the sun was going to rise, without the orders from the Prime Minister. It was his courage that Pakistan could take only a small part, but the most beautiful part and the most significant part as far as military science is concerned, because that small part allows Pakistan to be joined with China. That small part is so significant. Without it, the boundaries of China and Pakistan were separate. Pakistan has taken that part, and now China has made a 1,000 miles long super highway reaching to Lahore. Both are the enemies of India, and now they are connected. Chaudhary was insisting that allow me, forget about that part, because Pakistan is focused to take that part. Let them take. Don't waste time. Allow me. I will take Lahore, their most important city. And it was only 15 miles away. A few minutes job. But the cabinet discussed and discussed. This country is very clever as far as discussing is concerned. For centuries it has been discussing about everything and doing nothing. And as they became aware that Chaudhary is going to take over Lahore, they stopped him. That without our orders, who are you? And Chaudhary was punished, retired before his time. His wife was telling to me that if he was allowed to take Lahore, we had immediate solution of the problem. Pakistan would not have been ready to lose Lahore, because Lahore joins us with Afghanistan and Soviet Union. was very clear in his conception that they will not take this risk that India becomes joined with road, with railway train to Soviet Union. They would have rather change and negotiate that you can take the part we have taken and you give the part that you have taken. This country has learned in 2000 years to be slave. Even though 40 years have passed of freedom, there is no freedom anywhere. Only in the words of the Constitution. Otherwise, how the police commissioner could have dared to prevent me and tell me to leave Pune within 30 minutes on the grounds that I am controversial. I simply want to know, has there been anybody in the whole world who was of any significance and not controversial? Was Jesus not controversial? If he had remained just with his father in his carpentry, I don't think people would have crucified him. They did not crucify his father. Was Buddha not controversial? But was he ordered by any kingdom? Because India was divided in 2000 kingdoms at his time. And he was moving freely from one kingdom into another. Not even a visa was asked, not even a passport, and nobody can be more controversial than Gautam Buddha, because he was against the Vedas, which are the base of Hindu religion. He was against the Brahmins, which are the priests and the lawgivers of Hinduism. Still nobody prevented him just because he was controversial. But it seems we have become such a slave in our minds that we have written a constitution which is simply a copy of all the best constitutions of the world. We have chosen fragments from here and there. Whenever I think of the Indian Constitution, I always, without exception, remember a small story. It was Darwin's birthday, and the children of his neighborhood wanted to present him something, because he was the most famous man and, of course, the most controversial man of his time. And he was very friendly with children. He used to play with children. They were all his friends. And his birthday, and they were thinking what to present him, because his single-minded interest was to know about animals, birds, how life has arisen, why life has taken so many forms. So what they did, children are very much intelligent before they are corrupted by their elders. They gathered few insects, cut pieces, wings from one, legs from another, body from the third, head from the fourth, from different insects, and they glued them and made a new insect, and they waited whether Charles Darwin, the greatest expert about insects and animals and birds, can even say what kind of insect is this. They were very much excited, and in the evening they brought it. Even Darwin could not figure it out. He has seen his whole life, he has been around the world, and these little children of his neighborhood, where they have found such an original insect. Then he looked closely. He was getting old. Then he said, "Bring my glasses, because I have never seen such an insect." And when he put his glasses, the children said, "Now tell us the name of the insect." He said, "This is humbug." The Indian Constitution is a humbug. Something from the Soviet Constitution, something from the American Constitution, most of the English Constitution, and from every other country, whatever they could find is good, sounds good. Freedom of individual, no discrimination, freedom of expression, government by the people, of the people, for the people. Everything is borrowed. But it looks good when you read it. But it is not applicable. Because I am controversial, I should leave Pune within 30 minutes. Where should I go? Because I will be controversial wherever I am. And if to be controversial is a crime, then there is no place for you anywhere in my own country. Which goes on bragging to the whole world that this is the greatest democracy. And this is the freedom for which my whole family fought, went to jail, suffered, and because all the elders of the family were suffering, only women were left in the house, the business was closed, we were children, small children, we were suffering because even there was no money to pay the fee. And this is the freedom for which not only my family, but thousands of families suffered. Thousands of people died. And they were all controversial people. Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Dr. Ambedkar, they were all controversial people. If you have even a little intelligence, you are bound to be controversial. Only in the army, your intelligence is crushed and destroyed so that you cannot say no, even if you see something is wrong. You have been trained to say yes in every condition. I am not a soldier, neither I am a saint, because saints are also very afraid of controversy. Their whole reputation. Just today, I heard one young Jaina nun, just 21 years old, but must be very daring, escaped. And everybody thought it happened in Indore, which is a very Jaina-dominated city. Everybody thought somebody has abdicated her. But it was wrong, because soon her letter came that nobody has abdicated me, and I am now adult. I have passed my 21st year. Now it is my right to choose my life. I don't want to remain a Jaina nun. I have fallen in love with a young man, and I want to live the way I want. And don't try to find me, otherwise I will expose everything. What kind of inhuman treatment has been given to me, and what is going on behind the scene, behind the screen, all kinds of things which the Jaina monk and the Jaina nun goes on teaching to people that these are wrong things, but behind the screen, all those things are happening. And I don't want to be tortured. And if you try to find me, I am going to expose everything. Then don't blame me. In the first place, to force me when I was very young and I could not understand what you are doing, I became a nun. But the Jainas are very much angry. They want the girl to appear in the High Court. And seeing her letter, I feel that she is capable of exposing them. And if she is not capable, I invite her to come to me. And I will appear with her in the High Court and expose all inhuman behavior that goes on behind the walls. All kinds of sexual perversion. And the same people are teaching celibacy is divine. And none of them is a celibate. If anyone is a celibate, let him come out and be examined in a medical college. Except that just his word is not enough. I know them very intimately, but this is the situation all over the world. In one monastery of Christians in Europe, half of the monks are fighting with the other half, and the monastery is divided now in two parts, because the half of the monk are saying that everybody is a homosexual in the monastery, and the other half are trying to save their face and telling that this is not right. But if you force so many young people full of sexual energy in one place, and don't allow any contact with the other sex, what do you expect from them? Yes, they will teach celibacy, and they will behave just the opposite of their own teachings. So the real thing is not to burn the scriptures. The real thing is to burn the self which carries inside you the scriptures, the tradition, the past, and all kinds of rotten things, superstitions. The dead people seem to be very cunning. They go on dominating the living people. What right anybody has to dominate the children of the future? I have been asked again and again that what about the future? What will happen to sannyasins, their children, when you are gone? You should write the discipline, the code, the morals. You should give them the ideals. But I will be dead. And I am against the dead should rule the living. The living should find their own life, their own discipline, their own morals. And they will be living in a different time, in a different age, in a different atmosphere. Nobody should look backward, and nobody should try to control even those who are not born. Just live your life with as much joy and celebration as a gift of God. Dance with the trees, in the sun, in the rain, in the wind. Neither the trees have any scriptures, nor the animals have any scriptures, nor the stars have any scriptures, nor they have any sayings. Except man, nobody is obsessed with the dead. This obsession I call one of the greatest mistakes which has been committed for thousands of years. It is time it should be stopped completely. For each new generation, leave the space open to search, to find the truth. Because finding the truth is less blissful than searching for it. The pilgrimage is the real thing, not the reaching to the temple. For how can a tyrant rule the free and the proud? Help your children to be proud, not obedient, not slaves. Help them to be free. Teach them that there is no higher value than freedom of living and freedom of expression. Make them capable that if the need arises, it is better to die than to accept any kind of slavery. but this is not being done. And unless it is done, you cannot save the world from Adolf Hitler's, Joseph Stalin's, Mao Zedong, Ronald Reagan. You cannot save humanity from tyrants, dictators. In fact, deep down you desire them. Deep down you want somebody to dictate terms and style of your life. You are so afraid of committing mistakes, because if you are free, naturally you will commit many mistakes. But remember, that is the way of life. Many times you will fall, there is no harm. Get up again and learn not to fall. Be more alert. You will commit mistakes, but don't commit the same mistake again. This is how one becomes wise. This is how one becomes an individual. A proud man, like a cedar tree rising high, reaching to the stars. Don't be pygmies. Try to reach to the ultimate height of which you are capable. And if it is a care you would cast off, that care has been chosen by you rather than imposed upon you. What are your anxieties? What are your problems that are torturing you? You have chosen them. They have not been imposed on you. Who has told you to be jealous of somebody who is more intelligent, of somebody who is more stronger, of somebody who is more richer? Why you have chosen to be jealous? Your jealousy will destroy your energy unnecessarily. Rather than being jealous, find out what you can do with your energy, what you can create. And I say unto you that not a single man is born in the world who has not a certain capacity which will make him proud. Who is not pregnant with something to produce, to give birth to something new and beautiful, to make the existence more richer. There is not a single man who has come in the world empty. Have you seen the children when they are born? Their hands are closed. A closed hand, a fist, is a mystery. One never knows what is hidden inside. And have you seen the dead man? When somebody dies, have you seen any dead man with a fist? It is impossible. A dead man dies with an open hand. Empty, spent. These are only metaphors. I am saying a child is born with full of possibility. He need not be jealous of anyone. I have never felt jealous of anyone. however great they may be. A Lao Tzu, or Moses, or Krishna, or Buddha, but I have not felt jealous. I have simply felt immensely happy that at least few people realize their potential and has given me the incentive that you are also a man belonging to the same race. That can rise to such a height, certainly you can rise to the same height in some direction. Perhaps you may rise higher, because 25 centuries have not gone in vain. You are richer than any Buddha, because 25 centuries of learning, experience, and 25 centuries of thousands reaching to the same heights. Kabir, Nanak, Jesus, Rabindranath. Why you cannot? Except you, nobody is preventing you. And if it is a fear you would dispel, the seat of that fear is in your own heart and not in the hand of the fear. What one can take away from it, at the most your life, which is anyway going to disappear one day. And if somebody can be made happy, why miss the chance? Let him be happy. But there is no need to be afraid. I have been going around the world alone, without any firearms, and I have been fighting with people who have nuclear weapons, and it is strange that they are afraid. I am not afraid. Sometimes even I have wondered that either they are mad or I am mad. They have all the powers to destroy me. I don't believe in destroying anything, not even an ant. My whole philosophy can be named as reverence for life. But why they are afraid? The seat of fear is in their own heart. Now it is 1 year, more than 1 year, they destroyed my commune in America. But they destroyed it only after they had arrested me and forced me to leave America, because they knew perfectly well, if I am there, for 2 years they have been trying to come, and we had sent them invitations to the President of America, to the Attorney General of America, to the Governor of Oregon, that you are welcome, you just come and see, you don't go on deciding on rumors. none of them had the courage even to visit the commune. And the commune was in a desert. The nearest American town was 20 miles away. We were not, in fact, in America. And we were not doing anything to them. Still, on the boundary of the commune, they had gathered thousands of armed guards. Strange people. And the Attorney General, Mr. Mees, who is now in trouble, everybody who has committed the crime against the innocent people of the commune is going to have the effects. Every cause produces its effect. This man, Attorney General of America, was the cause. And in a press conference, he admitted it, that our first priority was to destroy the commune. But why? Why it should be your priority to destroy the commune? Asked why you have not sent Bhagwan into jail. He said, first, we were not ready to make him a martyr. Certainly the desire was there, but the fear that if they put me in jail, all their embassies around the world will be burned. It will be made difficult for every American to live outside America. And to make me a martyr, they will help my work, because my people will become stronger and they will come together with force. And those who have been always sympathizers and lovers will come out of their dark holes to support. And thirdly, he said, Bhagwan has not committed any crime. We don't have any evidence, any proof. Now this same man was standing in the court against me. And forced the judge to fine me $400,000, near about 60 lakh rupees. And he must be thinking that I don't have even pockets. From where I am going to produce $400,000. He was shocked, because my people who were present in the court within 10 minutes collected the money. The jailer told me that your people have shocked all of us. Even the richest man in the country will find it difficult, because all his money is invested. $400,000 your people managed and threw on the table before the judge. Now it becomes a strange case. He is accepting that I have not committed any crime, then for what I have been punished? Just because I criticize Christianity, and Ronald Reagan is a fanatic Christian. I have challenged him, I have challenged the Pope. They can all be together. I am alone enough for a public open debate on the fundamentals of Christianity, because they are so idiotic that nobody can be able to support them by reasonable, logical grounds. How can you support that Jesus is born out of a virgin mother? Just produce another child out of a virgin mother. You are speaking against the whole medical science. That Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. What happened to God? Has he started following birth control? Or perhaps he has gone impotent? Or perhaps Friedrich Nietzsche is right that he is dead? But what happened? Why there should be only one child? Even beggars in India create dozens of children. And in the Christian Trinity, there is no woman. God the Father, God the Son, Jesus Christ, and a certain strange guy, Holy Ghost. What these three fellows are doing without a woman? These are very pertinent questions today. Certainly it is a gay group. They will have to prove. They have all the power. Now it is 1 year continuously that my people are being told by the Prime Minister of Italy that we are going to give the visa next week. And it is now 1 year. And just the other day, one sannyasin came from Italy and he said, now he is asking that a fresh application is needed. We are sorry, because the time 1 year has passed. But whose fault it is? Not that we were not reminding him. Our sannyasins were sitting there whole day for the whole year. But the Pope is the problem. He was insisting that I should not be allowed in Italy. And these powerful people, prime ministers and presidents, are not powerful. Deep down is the fear. I have every right, because I am only asking for a 3 weeks tourist visa. But the Prime Minister is afraid that the country is Catholic. Elections are coming near. And if the Pope is not listened, then Catholic votes will not be given to him. What kind of power is this? That depends on others. If they give you their vote, you are a beggar. And constantly afraid. Now in Italy it has become almost a great problem, because 150 celebrities, Nobel Prize winner people, scientists, painters, poets, world famous actors, actresses, they have all signed a protest for me, that this is absolutely against the freedom of expression and freedom of movement. Now the Prime Minister is in a much more difficulty, because these 150 people are world famous. They have also weight. If they all go against in the elections, that even Pope will not be able to save him. That's why he is saying a fresh application, a little more time. Really he wants to pass the time so that this election passes. Then for 5 years he is not afraid. But he is wrong. Whenever I will go into Italy, I have a standing challenge for the Pope. And I don't want him to be here or amongst my people. I have many sannyasis in Italy. I want him to have an open discussion in Vatican before all the Catholics. So he need not be worried. All his people will be there. I will enter alone. But I know truth has a power of its own. And this Polak Pope certainly knows that he has no answers for me. And it is better to avoid confrontation. Because my simple proposal is that if I am defeated, I will become a Catholic. But if you are defeated, I become the Pope. A simple proposition. Then Vatican becomes my kingdom. And even if I get the visa, I can predict it. For those 3 weeks, he will escape out of Italy. I am just closing the door so he cannot escape. Verily, all things move within your being in constant half embrace. The desired and the dreaded. The repugnant and the cherished. The pursued and that which you would escape. Your life is a hell for a simple reason, that nothing is holy. Everything is divided. You are living a life of contradictions. You desire something, and at the same time you are afraid to desire it. You feel something which is very attractive, but you are also afraid. And half of you says it is repugnant. The pursuit and that which you would escape. You are doing both the things together. Just watch yourself. When you condemn something, just look within yourself. There must be some appreciation. And when you love, just behind it, like a shadow, follows the hate. So it is not accidental that couples are continuously fighting and loving also. In fact, every fight ends into love. By and by, it becomes such a conditioning that if they don't fight, they cannot love. Just like small children, they go on carrying their teddy bear, dirty, greasy, looks like an Italian Pope. They want to get rid of it, but they have become so accustomed they cannot sleep without it. Only when they are hugging their teddy bear, they will go to sleep. The husband may be fighting with the wife, but unless some negotiation happens, he cannot feel himself at peace, at rest. He will bring ice cream, flowers, a new sari. He will feel at ease only when the wife shows signs that it is time to drop the fight. It is late and we have to go to sleep. They both have become teddy bears to each other. In one neighborhood, everybody was fighting. Every couple was fighting. And have you watched? When a woman throws anything at you, a saucer, a cup, it never hits you. It is half-hearted. She does not want to hurt you. Because if you are hurt, immediately she will run and find the ointment and... But why in the first place hurt the poor fellow? Husbands and wives have found a very good thing to fight with, that is the pillows. They don't hurt each other. They throw the pillows at each other. They shout at each other. But the whole neighborhood was worried that one Sardarji, who used to live in the same apartment building, never anybody heard somebody screaming or somebody shouting. On the contrary, they always heard every night laughter. They could not believe. Are they really husband and wife? Or he has abdicated somebody else's wife? Why they go on laughing? For what? One day the whole neighborhood gathered the Sardarji. As he was getting out of his taxi, he was a taxi driver. And they asked that we cannot resist our temptation anymore. What is the secret? Because we come home and fight starts. And it goes late in the night. You are an exception. Just laughter. Just tell us your secret. We would also like to laugh. The Sardar said, it would have been better that you had not asked. But if you are so curious to know, I will tell you the truth. The truth is that when she throws something at me, if she misses, I laugh. And if she hits me, she laughs. This is an agreement. So you hear always laughter. But we are in the same boat. There is no difference at all. Man is divided in himself. You are never doing anything wholeheartedly, half embraced. Such a state cannot create peace, silence, joy. These things move within you as lights and shadows in pairs that cling. Here is light, just outside the net, the darkness is waiting. And when the shadow fades and is no more, the light that lingers becomes a shadow to another light. There are layers and layers and layers in you. You peel one layer, another fresh layer is formed. And thus your freedom, when it loses its fetters, becomes itself the fetter of a greater freedom. These are immensely important statements. The journey is eternal. Never think that the pilgrimage stops somewhere. You get rid of one thing and suddenly you see another thing is waiting. Again you are fettered. As you get rid of it, you find something even more subtle that you had never seen before. These statements are true, but Khalil Gibran does not know anything beyond your mind. He goes deepest in the mind, deeper than any Sigmund Freud, or Jung, or Adler, or Asagoli. But he never goes beyond the mind. And in the East, our approach has been just totally different. We know the mind is like an onion, layers upon layers. Why waste time? Just transcend it. Even 15 years of continuous psychoanalysis, and yet the man is the same. Nothing changes. just a small effort towards meditation, and meditation just is a step out of the mind. Leave the mind behind. There is no need to go on peeling its layers. You are not the mind, just as you are not the body. You are part of an immortal life. Your body, your mind are all centered on a false self. As you go beyond the self, you suddenly discover a sky that has no limits. Few have called it God, few have called it Brahma, but the best word is used by Mahavira and Gautam Buddha. They have called it moksha. Moksha means total freedom. Freedom from all that binds you. Freedom from all that is false. Freedom from all that is going to die. And as you become free from all that is false and mortal, immediately doors of immortality open for you. The Vedas have declared you as Amritasya Putra, sons and daughters of immortality. And except meditation, there has never been any way, and there will never be any way. Those who miss meditation miss the whole dance of life. I hope that none of you misses that dance, that song, that music of eternity.
Yes, Bhagavan.